Welcome back. Our next guests have been cooking together for more than 20 years with many primetime TV successes tucked under the belt and, might I add, selling a massive 6 million plus copies of their books. Holy moly.
Phenomenal. This week sees the release of their 24th book, Veggie Feasts, and joining us now to tell us all about it is the legendary duo themselves, the Hairy Bikers, Cy King and Dave Myers. Good morning, lads.
Morning, fellas.
Morning, Simon.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you with us this morning. 24 books. It sounds incredible. This time you've turned your attention to veggies, vegetarianism and veganism as well. Why now? Why now is the right time for this book?
Well, I think it's to be honest, it's a distillation of about 4 years' conversation between the two families, really, in the sense that both Dave and I have vegan and vegetarian kids. And we found that we were eating less and less meat, and I think that, you know, moving to a much more plant-based diet is a good thing for not only health but the planet as well. So and that's why it's now. It's actually been 4 years in the making, this book, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been growing most of my own veg for the past 4 years, and it's funny, you find yourself going around to your neighbour's house with a bag of tomatoes. Showing off.
Used to be a bottle of wine back in the day. Now it's a bag of tomatoes and a cucumber.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Listen, let's talk about, if we can, chaps, about how you guys got together, because, you know, your trades, you were both working in television and film production, makeup artist, locations manager. How did you guys come together, and how and who had the idea of putting you together to cook and to travel?
Well, nobody had the idea of putting us together. We decided that we wanted to do it.
We thought it was more money and more off.
Yeah, the more days off thing hasn't worked particularly well, but we're working on that. You know. So we met on the set of a Catherine Cookson drama called The Gambling Man, and Robson Green at the time was the lead, and that was back in 1992 up in Northumberland.
And I just got the job, and I got taken to meet the rest of the crew, and Kingy was playing pool and ordering a curry. And I just went, well, I'll have what he's having. And then we went and got the work done. He invited me around for Sunday lunch. I remember that with his wife, and he had 2 boys then. Yeah. We had a roast leg of lamb and all the trimmings, and he sold me a really scabby motorbike. And it was rotten. And actually, in trying to get the money back, we actually started cooking. It was one of those things that whenever we got together, we cooked for everybody. And, you know, people say, oh, you two should be on telly. Or, yeah, right, whatever. But then we thought we wanted to produce our own programmes, and it's that thing about, you know, if you're going to write a book, write about what you know. And ours was cooking, eating, riding motorbikes, and talking twaddle. And we pitched it. We wrote a document called Motorcycles, Food, and the Search for Nirvana.
Doesn't trip off the tongue, does it? No.
Yeah, it's not as trippy. It doesn't trip off the tongue like the Hairy Bikers, does it?
Nah.
I'm interested to hear about your differing tastes in food. You obviously were both foodies in your own right, but getting together, do you clash an awful lot? Does one of you hate a dish, another one will love it? Do you argue about what recipes to put into the books? I mean, 24 books, there has to be, I suppose, a lot of the two of you offering your opinions and not accepting the other's opinion at some point.
No, actually, Laura, to be honest, there isn't any of that, because the thing is, it's such a creative, collaborative effort. And we have a lovely lady that we work with who's incredibly technical and incredibly good, called Catherine Phipps. And Catherine, the three of us kind of are when it comes to the recipes, are the kind of co-creative force behind them. So we always have, what's happened there? We always have...
You're looking well.
Dear me.
A spy cam in your kitchen.
There is. What happened? Look, I'm doing... I forgot that. I haven't seen that kitchen for ages. So, we kind of just get on pretty.
I think if anything, well. Catherine's got, like, for this book, we came up with 200 ideas, about 70 keepers, and for the remaining 30, I think Catherine had the kind of casting vote, and it's a bit like when you're doing telly. You know, you let somebody you trust have that kind of final weather eye, I think to stop you making an idiot of yourself,
Because
basically.
I was going to say, like when you were saying, side of the book was 4 years in the making. So when you decide to write this book, so we're going to write a book with vegan recipes, etc., and you start off with a well of ideas, 300 ideas, because you guys have travelled the world twice probably at this stage, and a lot of your books, your previous books, would have featured the odd vegetarian or vegan dish. So you probably had a huge stock of recipes to go to. The process of narrowing them down is difficult, I'd imagine.
Well, it is quite difficult because what we brought to this book particularly was the cuisines that we've enjoyed around the travels. I mean, the reality is that we've ridden the motorcycles 4 times around the world, Simon. So and the cuisines that we've enjoyed were Southern Indian cuisines particularly, and Southwest Indian cuisines, and Italian and Mediterranean. Yeah, so so you bring those spices and that alchemy and those cooking techniques to every recipe, really, because that's been our experience.
What I think makes you lovable in terms of watching you guys on telly, one of my favourite moments that you guys did on television was an episode where you were travelling around Asia and you decided you wanted to try and make kimchi. So you end up going to somebody's house and you followed the entire process of making the kimchi, months and months of prep, putting it into plastic tubs, wrapping it in a blanket, putting it in the airing cupboards. That shouldn't be interesting television, but it was, because you two guys were doing it.
Yeah, but what made that interesting, it was the grandma that was in the kitchen.
That's right.
She wanted nothing to do with it. She was just going to sit there.
Yeah.
She hated it and everything. And then we started, that was it. She
off.
took over,
Yeah.
she started to fly, and you just stand back and let her go. And you think it's her moment. And we can make kimchi now.
And that's the big thing.
A skill
It's not about Dave and I. Sorry, Laura. Sorry. It's not about Dave and I. Those lovely contributors that we have around the world. It's about their story. We're just the conduit for their story. And as Dave says, sometimes they need a bit warming up. But once they're off, they're off. It's great,
That comes across absolutely in the TV series. Just to ask you lads as well, what's the feedback been like? What kind of is the most surprising feedback you get from people who read your books and enjoy watching you?
Oh, I don't know. I think certainly the vegetarian book, it's people of our generation. They go, we want to eat more vegetables. We want to eat less meat. And but what we try to do in the book is to create complete dinners, complete meals, not like lots of side dishes. It's kind of a book for us. I think that's been the surprise about how well there hasn't been anybody skitting, because we've done meat feasts several years ago. We're doing veggie feasts, but then we've always been honest, really. I mean, like when we did the diet books because we just got really, really fat.
But I think the key, chaps, is that there's something in the book for everybody. And actually, from that same episode, that great episode moment when you're in the karaoke bar, Dave is up murdering a song and it cuts to Si's face and he just doesn't want to be there. I love it. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, chaps. The best of luck with the book and keep on cooking, keep on going.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning to you both. And the Hairy Biker's new book, Veggie Feasts, is now available at all good bookstores and also on ebook as well.
Up next, Beards at the Ready. We are kicking off this year's annual Movember campaign. Don't go anywhere.
There we're great.